What is up, guys? This is the third part 3 of my DVD, all wrestling DVD collection series. I do have a lot of freaking WWE stuff to show you guys, a lot of content that I collected throughout the years. Most of them picked up at Walmart for very cheap. They usually have a sale, a wrestling sale that goes on once a year, maybe twice a year, where they get all these 3-disc box sets, and they just sell them for like $3.99, $4.99, and we're talking about 3 discs. That's like $1 each disc, $1.50 each disc, and it's totally worth it because even if you have the WWE Network, which I haven't, most of the content that's on the physical media is not on the network. They'll show you bits and pieces, but they don't show you the entire set. And it's pretty cool because there's a lot of extra features, a lot of bonus content, and not everything is WWE material. There's some NWA shit, there's some Smoky Mountain stuff, there's a lot of different stuff, which actually the WWE owns, but you know they don't have much of that stuff on the network itself. So let's not get much into delay. I'm gonna start off with some stuff here. I have here the Ultimate Warrior Ultimate Collection, and this has over 25 matches from the Ultimate Warrior on DVD. It runs over 7 hours long. And yeah, the Ultimate Warrior wasn't the greatest wrestler in the world, but definitely my third favorite of all time. My first, of course, Hulk Hogan. My second, Macho Man Randy Savage. And Ultimate Warrior being my third. That list has been set for years. It's never gonna change. My fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, they all change between Stone Cold Steve Austin, Undertaker, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. It usually changes all the time. But my top 3 spots never change. It's always been Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, and then the Ultimate Warrior. Anyways, this is a really cool collection. It has a bunch of matches here. The most memorable matches, of course, is matches against Hulk Hogan, WrestleMania 6. That was the only time that they wrestled in the WWF. They never had a house show. They never had any other match. They just wrestled that one time, and I think that's what made it extra special. And it was a really good match. You have the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan, which they're not great workers, but they had the momentum, they had the charisma, they had the looks, they had the mic skills, they had the talent. So that was enough. That was a pretty good match for them. Then you got the Ultimate Warrior against Andre the Giant, a bunch of Rick Rude. Rick Rude was his main rival when he was the Intercontinental Champion. Also has the Macho Man retirement match of WrestleMania 7. So yeah, it's a really cool set. I have yet to open it because, of course, I barely have the time to sit and watch 8 hours of the Ultimate Warrior. But one day I will, when I get old or when I retire, some way down the line, I will watch this entire set. Maybe if I ask a couple of days off from work, I could just sit down and pound the beers and watch some WWF Ultimate Warrior action. Great matches, man. I mean, Ultimate Warrior, very exciting wrestler, one of a kind. God bless him. May he rest in peace. So sad the way he died a couple of days after his Hall of Fame induction. But yeah, it has a bunch of interviews, a bunch of promos. No one did it better than the Ultimate Warrior. The guy was on fire. He was nuts with his promos, and pretty good set. It's crazy how they released this after them releasing the one that I showed you in part 2 of my wrestling DVD sets of the Self-Destruction of the Warrior, and then they come and release this, and they also release this is the Ultimate Collection, and this is the Ultimate Warrior Always Believe set. They're both 3-disc sets. This one is more like talking about his life, more talking about his Hall of Fame induction in 2014. Has a bunch of memorable matches, including some from WCCW, where he started as Dingo Warrior. It has a couple of matches with him and Sting as the tag team that they were in. So yeah, it's a pretty good documentary. This one has a really good documentary. This is just matches, and this is a documentary as well as matches at the end. So yeah, it's funny how they released the Self-Destruction of the Warrior years ago, and then some years after they're worshiping him and he's the greatest and all this. So yeah, two really cool sets from the Ultimate Warrior here. Both 3 discs. So there's a total of 6 discs in here. So yeah, and I got them super cheap at Walmart. Then I got here one of my favorites releases here. I see this on the network all the time. This is called the WWE the Monday Night Wars. This is volume 2, and this is basically what was going on between WCW and WWF back in the mid 90s, late 90s. And this one's called volume 2, Know Your Role. This is basically when The Rock took over, and he was awesome doing promos. He was a pretty good wrestler as well. It's pretty cool. It has 10 hours, 4 discs, and there's awesome interviews with Mick Foley, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Eric Bischoff, Diamond Dallas Page, Bill Goldberg, Ric Flair, everybody you name it, whoever was part of that era. They lived the best time in wrestling because it was something that you had to be there to live it. You would flip channels between TNT and USA Network to see what had a better content. I was more of a WWF guy. I always watched Monday Night Raw whenever they went on commercial. Then I would go to WCW. I remember getting really, really, really pissed off when I saw Scott Hall in WCW. To me, Razor Ramon was a badass in the WWF, and then he went to WCW and it sucked. And then I saw Kevin Nash, and I was like, oh, damn it. And, we lost 2 big guys of the WWF. And then, and then they picked up with the NWO. I was really interested in the NWO, the Hulk Hogan turn and all that shit. That was great for business. And this one also shows when Medusa, which was known as Alundra Blaze in the WWF, she got the women's belt and she just dumped it in the garbage can and lit it up on fire. That's fucking nuts. And then also shows the ECW invasion when they invaded Monday Night Raw in 1997. Really, really cool set, man. It's packed, man. It's awesome moments from both companies, WCW and WWF. I really recommend this if you have never seen it. Highly recommend it so you could get the insights of how the Monday Night Raw and Nitro Wars went, and also if you have seen it, it will bring you back awesome memories. Really cool memory lane. The 4 disc here, and it's a really good sit down and watching. I'd rather watch this than watch the new pay-per-views. These new pay-per-views are crazy. They just repeat the matches over and over again. I have so much negative shit to talk about wrestling. Not wrestling, but the WWE itself. It's so produced. It's so scripted. It's not even funny. But back then, it was really, really good. I highly recommend this set. Then I got here, this is a double whammy, which I haven't opened. Most of these I haven't opened because, I don't have the time to watch it. And on top of that, everything's available on the network, or most of it is available on the network. So this is a double action pack. This is a double whammy. This is the ladder match, volumes 1 and 2. Volumes 1 is awesome. Volume 2 is called Crash and Burn. So the later years, and it has each of them is a 3 disc set, and awesome ladder matches. We know the Hardy Boys, the Dudleys, you got the Rock, Chris Benoit. You got a bunch of people here, man. The CM Punk one, really cool matches, and it's basically every single ladder match that the WWF has had, or at least the good ones, up to around 2006, 2007. So yeah, I highly recommend this if you're into ladder matches and stuff. Both of them cost me like $6 for both sets. 6 discs. That's like $1 each disc. So that was a great deal I got here at a Walmart. Then I got this one very early. I got this one when it first came out, which was a very long time ago. This one I did see completely. I'm a huge fan of Bret the Hitman Hart, and this guy was the leader of the new WWF generation. He claims that he's the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. And definitely he was a really good wrestler. I'm not saying that he was the very best, but he was really good. He was not the biggest guy. Actually, he was like 6'1", 6'2", 230 pounds. So he was, back in the day, to be a WWF champ, you had to be like pretty big. You know, you had Hulk Hogan, you had Yokozunas, you had the Ultimate Warriors, you had the bigger guys were the dominant athletes, and if you weren't a big guy, Vince McMahon wasn't going to put the strap on you. Well, Bret Hart proved everybody wrong. He proved that he could do it. He ran a good WWF Championship reign. Of course, he didn't draw as much as Hogan did. He didn't. His drawing power wasn't as big, but nevertheless, he was a really good wrestler. Very entertaining. His storylines with other people were awesome. He had amazing feuds with, you know, Jerry the King Lawler. He had awesome feuds with the British Bulldog. And, you know, the list goes on. The Mountie. He had awesome matches with Mr. Perfect when he was the Intercontinental Champion. Actually, I think he's the best Intercontinental Champion ever. Actually, it's a tie between him and Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect was a really good Intercontinental Champion as well. And here we got a lot of matches, including from the Hart Foundation from 1985 against the British Bulldogs. We got against the Rockers in 1990. We got Mr. Perfect versus Bret Hart match from SummerSlam 91. And awesome stuff. Like, even with his brother Owen, cool stuff. Has a match with Ric Flair as well. So I highly recommend this if you're a Bret the Hitman Hart fan. Really awesome set, 3-disc set here from the WWE home video. Then I got here one that I have not opened, but this is Raw 100, the top 100 moments in Raw history. This is a 3-disc set. Monday Night Raw has been going on for a very, very long time, since 1993. So I'm sure there's a lot of moments that they've had, a lot of cool moments, including, you know, moments with Stone Cold Steve Austin, with Triple H and D-Generation X, The Rock promos. So there's a lot of content here, a lot of fun memories, a lot of cool stuff that you might forget. But they bunched it in here into a 3-disc set, and these are the top 100 moments of Monday Night Raw history. Has shocking moments, emotional moments. Bret Hart, you know, returns and loses his smile in the retirement ceremony. Bret Hart returns. Shawn Michaels loses his smile, and okay. So it says it has emotional moments like Bret Hart's return. Shawn Michaels loses his smile. I'm not sure what happened to him there. And then Edge's retirement ceremony, that was pretty emotional. Then it has the shocking moments when CM Punk drops the pipe bomb. I think he goes out of script, and then he starts saying bad stuff about the WWE. Then you know, John Cena getting drafted as number 1. New general managers for Monday Night Raw is Eric Bischoff. That was a big shocker. And then, you know, the funny moments between McMahon and the bedpans incident, and the Rock's concert. You know, and it was a pretty cool tea time with Santino Marella. A lot of memories here. Undertaker stuff, Undertaker promos. 100 moments for WWE Monday Night Raw. Definitely worth checking out. That's the back of it. Really nice set. Got it dirt cheap. Walmart, thank you for putting them cheap. Then I got here the best of the King of the Ring. Actually, not my favorite kind of pay-per-view, but you know, it's a cool tournament to determine the King of the Ring. It didn't mean much, and it didn't last too long. I mean, 93, 94 were the really hot years for it. And then, you know, they actually had one in the 80s, like 84, 85. I think Harley Race won one. Hacksaw Jim Duggan won the other. So yeah, they've been having King of the Rings for a very long time, but it wasn't a pay-per-view. And all of a sudden in 1993, they turned it into a pay-per-view, which Bret Hart won that one, and that was like the most prestigious one. And then 94, 95, and then all of a sudden it just faded away, and they stopped doing King of the Ring. But yeah, definitely pretty good set. This is the best of King of the Ring. It has really cool matches. Also in the King of the Ring 96, that's when Stone Cold Steve Austin got his persona, and he started mentioning the Austin 316 said I just whooped your ass to the then religious Jake the Snake Roberts. He had a gimmick of being a religious guy or whatever, and that's how Stone Cold Steve Austin's character rose up to fame, and that's what made him actually the Stone Cold Steve Austin crazy guy. So 3-disc set. It has a bunch of cool matches. The Hell in a Cell match with Undertaker versus Mankind, which actually happened in one of the King of the Rings, and Bam Bam Bigelow versus Bret Hart in the 1993 finals for the King of the Ring as well. It's really cool. It's a really cool set. Not my favorite pay-per-view again, but really cool set to have, and I highly enjoyed some of the King of the Ring matches. Then I got something that's really cool. This is the Greatest Wrestling Factions, which is badass. It breaks down all the freaking factions that there's ever been, including the NXT, the Nexus, and then it has the Four Horsemen, the Brood. It has Degeneration X. It has a bunch of factions here. I mean, the Triple Threat, the one with Shane Douglas, Chris Candido, and Bam Bam Bigelow. It has the Nation of Domination, the $1 Million Corporation, the Blue World Order, the Corporation, Evolution, the Heenan family, the Right to Censor, the Nexus, the Fabulous Freebirds, the Dangerous Alliance, that was a really good one, the Hart Foundation, the Legacy, the Dungeon of Doom, which had a lot of cheesy characters, the early WCW stuff, the Straight Edge Society, the Four Horsemen, the Oddities, the Triple Threat. I mean, this thing is packed with a bunch of factions of the WWE, ECW, and WCW, and WCCW as well, and a bunch of other stuff. The NWO, here's the back. There you go. And I really enjoyed this set. It was really cool. A bunch of many years with a lot of honorable mentions and stuff. So yeah, this is a really good 3-disc set about wrestling factions. That's about it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, I'm going to show you more videos of wrestling, and I'm going to be talking more about wrestling. So if you guys like WWE and its content and the stuff that they release, the physical media, stay tuned for part 4, which will be coming pretty soon. Again, bear with me. It's going to be a lot of parts. I'm a big wrestling nerd. I'm a big wrestling collector, and I have a lot of wrestling stuff to show you guys. Until next time, hope you guys have a nice day. See you guys next time. Bye.